Buccaneers fans, it's your old friend IndyCar Timm here with your Buccaneers Daily Blitz. Welcome into the program here in the off-season as free agency is kind of winding down. We're looking forward to the draft now. Just about 5 weeks away is the NFL draft, and we will be all over that for you guys here on the Daily Blitz. Welcome into the network here on FanStream Sports. You can find us at fanstreamsports.com, the FanStream Sports mobile app that's free for iOS and Android. If you don't have an iOS or Android phone, then I can't help you. I don't know what other kinds of phones there are. Is BlackBerry still a thing? I don't think BlackBerry's a thing. Is Windows phones still a thing? I'm kind of aging myself there. I don't think so. But yes, iOS and Android, go get the FanStream Sports mobile app. Get all of our great live content as it comes out, and then just the recorded episodes of all of our most recent episodes of all the shows right there, as well as a link to our website that you can find whatever you want on demand to listen to on the FanStream Sports mobile app. And, of course, you can find all the hosts on the X, on Instagram. We do have the FanStream Sports Facebook page. You can come join over there and talk to all of us. But wherever you're coming from and wherever you are, we appreciate you very, very much. So big news. We'll get more into the entirety of free agency. But one of the biggest signings that general manager Jason Light pulled off was talking linebacker Lavonte David out of retirement and to come back for a 14th season to chase another Super Bowl ring. It's his 6th new contract with the Bucs. And I think there's one reason and one reason only. Lavonte David has come back to the Bucs. And it was going to be coming back to the Bucs or nothing. It was going to be retirement. He was not going to come back and play for somebody else. He was either coming back to play for the Bucs or he was not coming back. And I don't think that can be underscored enough for Jason Light to have kept his core intact throughout all these years, despite other teams. I mean, look at the San Francisco 49ers right now. They're in a shambles. Look at the Dallas Cowboys right now. They're in a shambles roster-wise. And yet Jason Light, through all of this, through COVID, through all of this, has been able to keep the core of his team together. And Lavonte David mentioned that as part of the reason that he wanted to come back. He's 35. He didn't have to come back and play. His body's beat up. He's got the stats. He's got a Pro Bowl. And by the way, how is it that he only has one Pro Bowl in his career? Talk about getting lost in the shuffle in Tampa Bay. That's a travesty. 2015 was his only Pro Bowl year. And that is ridiculous. But at age 35, we'll get into some possibilities for him of him coming back. But the fact that he spoke specifically of the leadership within the organization at his press conference, he said that he doesn't know if it's talked about enough that the Buccaneers have their loyalty to their guys. It's one of the most loyal organizations from a front office standpoint that's not overly loyal. Does that make sense? You can be loyal to all the guys all you want. If they're not performing on the field, then it doesn't get you anywhere, and that loyalty is unfounded. I know other organizations that have been loyal to a fault to some of their guys, and it's hurt the team on the field. I don't think that's happened in Tampa because you got guys like Chris Godwin coming back, taking a discount to come back. He didn't want to move his family. He didn't want to start over somewhere. Now, I'm a little sketchy on the reports that he took $20 million to less money to come here. I don't believe that, but I do believe he took less money. There's no question. I just don't think it was $20 million. But either way, he wants to play here. Lavonte David wanted to play here. He talked about the transparency of the front office and how much they told him they wanted him back. And he said that everybody seems on board. Everybody seems on the same page. And he honestly doesn't think that that's talked about enough from a media standpoint. Now, I know locally, of course, we talk about that. Nationally, it doesn't get out because, honestly, it's not a thing elsewhere in a lot of other places. You don't hear about it, so it's just not covered nationally, and that's fine. The Bucs are a small, little, happy family. Baker Mayfield mentioned that when he signed his 3-year deal last offseason. And I think he's part of that family culture. The guys are big fans of Baker. The guys are big fans of Lavonte. Everyone's a big fan of Chris. And I don't think, just like Lavonte says, that doesn't get talked about often enough. He mentioned the organization having a mutual, that he and the organization have a mutual respect. The front office and players have a mutual respect for each other. And that's got to be earned going both ways. It's not something that you just start off with. You know, that means the front office had to have done the right things, and that means the player had to have done the right things for there to be a mutual respect there. And as he mentioned, you just don't hear about that from other organizations. You know, he mentioned that it's easy to have a back-and-forth conversation with the front office, whether that's Jason Light or whoever it is he's talking to. His coaches, his position coaches, whatever it is. He just said that the organization allows him to uphold the standard that he's made for himself when he plays the game. And he's happy to be here. Now, all of that said, what's next for Lavonte David? There is a possibility that he approaches history here as we enter 2025 in his 14th season. So he is, if I did the math correctly, 189 solo tackles behind Derek Brooks for the franchise record. Derek Brooks has exactly 1,300, and Lavonte is at 1,111. So he's averaging about 95, 89, 90, 95. We'll go with 90 for his career per year. So it would be tough to get there this year. But, man, you can sure get within striking distance. And we talked to TJ, Bucs Sideline Reporter, today on the JP Peterson Show, and I asked him, if Lavonte was close at the end of this upcoming season, would that be something that could bring him back in 2026 if he was in striking distance? And TJ said that's certainly a possibility, you know, and it was nice to hear him talk about Derek Brooks. He doesn't compare himself to Derek Brooks. Derek Brooks is Mr. Franchise for the Bucs, and he's right. So the fact that he is you know, he's not even trying to mention his own name in the same breath with Brooks. And he could. Certainly he could. We all know that he could. But that humility is refreshing for sure. So there's a distinct possibility for Lavonte that if he comes back and has another great season, you know, he could be within 100 tackles of the franchise solo tackles record that Derek Brooks now owns. And then would that mean he wants to come back at age 36 next offseason to do it again? You know, it all would depend on health, right? How healthy he is and how his body feels. And but certainly we know the desire would be there for him. So that's just something to pay attention to, just something to watch, something to look forward to. And I heard, we'll wrap up this episode with, of course, everybody needs some John Gruden news, right? He's back in the Ring of Honor, and kind of back in the family, I guess. We talked about that whole situation ad nauseum on the J.P. Peterson show last week, or the week before maybe. However you feel about it, it's happened. Okay, he's back. Whatever you think about it, it's a thing. So he's got a podcast, if you guys have not heard. John Gruden, or former Bucs quarterback, you could say that about 30 teams in the league, I think. Former NFL quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick has a podcast with former Rams offensive lineman Andrew Whitworth. Fitz and Wit, I believe is the name of it. They had John Gruden on, and John Gruden was talking about the Bucs offensive situation. The third year in a row, they're going to have a different offensive coordinator. What does that mean? Blah, blah, blah. And he's a big fan of Josh Grizzard, as most of us are. And Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh Grizzard, their paths crossed in Miami. So Ryan knows Josh. Gruden, not so much, but he's a big fan of what the Bucs offense has been the last couple of years. And Grizzard's not going to come in and start making, huge changes to that. They're going to leave a lot of it alone, and he'll put his little twist on it, which is great. But Ryan Fitzpatrick said that, here's the quote. He thinks it's a great idea for Gruden and Grizzard to get together. He says, quote, "I need to connect you with Josh Grizzard. Young guy, really smart dude that's been in a few different systems, and I think he can learn a lot from you, and you'd help him out a lot. So I would like to hopefully bridge that gap for you guys." End quote. So look, Fitzy's just trying to help out Grizzard. He's a buddy of his, and I don't think he's wrong. I think Gruden could certainly teach him a few things. Gruden could teach a lot of people a few things about football. He's forgotten more about football than most of us will ever know. But it was just interesting that this was kind of made a big deal of around the media ranks here. So I don't know if it'll happen. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick certainly has the ability to make that happen. And, Gruden's kind of back in the family again. Will he be on staff? No, there's not. That's not going to happen again. But could he have lunch with Josh Grizzard and talk some football? Probably. And Fitzpatrick would probably be there too. And I will tell you what, I would pay any amount of money possible to be in that same room at that same table drinking a beer with those guys. I just think that would be amazing. So I'd like to know what your thoughts are on Gruden and Grizzard. Is that a thing you'd like to see? And how do you feel about Gruden being back in the Ring of Honor? I haven't really brought that up on this show yet. I would love to hear from you at IndyCar Timm on X. Or if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, just go comment below. I'll be reviewing those, making those maybe part of the next show. We'll start doing some viewer mail. We get a bunch of those after the fact. Or if you'd like to email us, you can just email me, IndyCarTim@gmail.com. I'd love to hear you. We'll make that part of the next show as well. When we get enough of those in, that means something, if in fact there is anything. But we appreciate you guys tuning in here to FanStream Sports, the Buccaneers Daily Blitz. Now that we're getting close to the draft, we'll be doing a couple of these a week for you for sure, if not 3 or 4. Make sure you check us out at the J.P. Peterson Show. Weekdays, 10 to noon Eastern Time on FanStream Sports on our YouTube channel and on X. And then until next time, boys and girls, we'll see you.